And this box is the most expensive comic book I have ever purchased in my life. It was a bit of a stretch to buy this book, but when I saw it online, it looked like it had things that I could improve, defects that I could get off with a clean and a press. So I bought it. It came in. I was happy. I definitely think I improved the book, and I think I can get a grade bump on it. How big of a grade bump? I have no idea. So I don't want to give away what book it is, but I'm kind of giving it away with my shirt, right? So you probably figured it out. Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 129 is in this box right here. I've owned another copy of it, a 7.0 I believe it was, and it ended up having staple issues. Rust had migrated to the paper, and I didn't want to mess with that. It looked like it might be fragile around that area. I didn't want to pop staples, so I just sold it as is. Lost a little bit of money on it, but that's okay. Live and learn, right? But this one is $500 or $600 more than I spent for that book. This was an 8.0. Hopefully is now better than an 8.0. But let me get it unboxed here. I'll hide the grade and we'll find out together how we did. Definitely nervous about this one. But it's going to be fun no matter what happens, right? Wow. Okay. Yeah, right. I know. I never thought that book would be in this room. This would have been unthinkable like a year ago. It's just crazy that this book is in this comic room. I never owned this one as a kid. I couldn't afford it, and it was only a couple $100 back then, I believe. Mid-'80s. I don't know. Somebody that lived through that back then was a little bit older and owned the book. Let me know what this book was worth in 84, 85, 86 when I was collecting. My Lord. That might be my best work. It's got a little bit of a piece of the box on it there. But this is unbelievable. There is no reversion. It's perfect. I can't see anything on it. Wow. So this book was abused. That's what was wrong with it. Somebody apparently sent this to a cleaner and a presser. Don't get me started. It had eraser shavings that were embedded into the cover in several spots where they had pressed it, probably cleaned it with an eraser, and then pressed it without cleaning it off good. Yeah, big no-no. The back corner, or actually the front corner right here, was turned over. Okay, CGC might have done it, but it looked like it was pressed that way. It was collapsed. It was terrible. I mean, this book, really? You're going to press it, and then you're going to send it to a grader, or whatever. It just blows my mind. I was able to flip it over, and there was no color break associated with it. I was floored. So I cleaned it up. Obviously, it's perfect, sharp corner now. That was a big detractor on the book, and I'm sure it's a lot of the reason that the grade came in. 8.0. Right? I'm going to send this back, by the way, in case you're going to ask in the comments. And so they can take the other book off, or the 8.0 version of this, off the census. The only big flaw I saw in this book was a staple tear, and it was in the grader's notes right here. So I'm like, okay, staple tear about 1/8 of an inch. Right there. That's going to cap our grade, right? I figure 9.2, something like that. I think this book has a strong chance of 9.0, 9.2. That's what I'm hoping for. I don't want to go for grade bumps of 8.0 to 8.5 or 6.0 to 6.5. I want to go 8.0 to 9.0, 7.0 to 8.5. You know, I want to get big jumps. So I'm very, very stingy when it comes to picking books to CPR. If I'm going to invest that much money, I know there's no such thing as a sure bet, but I want to know if I'm going to put in the time and the effort that I might get rewarded on it and have a little bit of gold at the end of the rainbow. There was also some darkening in a couple spots on the staple, and I don't know if you know this, but if you take an eraser, a fine eraser like this one that I use, and all of the tools that I use are listed on my website at improvecollecting.com. Everything I use, if I don't use it, it's not on there. It's this one. If you take it and you've got some, not necessarily rust, but just some discoloration that maybe is the beginnings of rust on a staple, you can take a strip of SRP paper, same stuff they use when pressing onto t-shirts, you know, to keep it from sticking to the shirt. You don't want the backing to stick to the shirt. So it's this stuff. So you stick this under the staple, And then it protects the book while you do a little bit of eraser work on the staple, and you can take that darkening off. So I took quite a bit of that off, and now the staples are like new. I didn't, because if you use anything other than an eraser, like a polishing thing, you can scratch up the staples and it'll be obvious, and you'll get a conserved grade, I think. I've never had that happen to me, but that is a possibility. So you don't want to do that. You want to preserve the staples as is. You want to remove defects. You don't want to add something on, and putting scuffs on there or whatever would be adding something to the book. I'm trying to remember what else was on this book. Just bends, just finger bends here and there that did not come out with the first press. So I don't rush books. I get books in. I don't stop. I don't overdo it. But as you know, I'm pretty meticulous. I don't stop till I think it is as perfect as it can be without getting to that point of diminishing returns. If you overdo it, obviously, you could cause damage. Pages can get brittle, staples can pop, that type of thing. So yeah, you still want to have a minimalist attitude when it comes to cleaning and pressing. If I could give anybody one tip starting out, is use much lighter pressure than you think you need to press a book. Don't overdo it. Be minimalist. And have your spirit animal be a sloth. Everything you do is slow and controlled movements. No sudden movements near a book, because that's when you catch corners, catch edges, whatever, and cause damage. So, it was an 8.0. Right? I'm hoping for a 9.0, 9.2. While I spent a lot of time on this book, the defects really weren't that bad. Really, it all comes down to this staple tear. Is that a common defect for the book, or is it going to cap us? Because I can't see that staple tear. I could see a slight stress. But this book is every bit of a 9.4, I would say, at least. I've seen 9.6s that don't look this good, really. It's not going to be 9.6 or 9. There's no chance of that happening. I'm not worried about that. No matter what the grade comes back, I'm selling this one. It's just too much money for me to keep out of. I need to buy more books, right? I got too much money tied up in this already. So regardless of what happens, I'll be selling and buying more books. Okay. Enough. Let's see what the grade is. What does CGC think the grade is on this Amazing Spider-Man 129, first appearance of the Punisher, one of the biggest keys ever, not just Bronze Age. It doesn't get much bigger than this one, right? So let's find out. Whoa! What? Oh, God! What? What is that worth? I have no idea. I never thought I would be in the... Well, okay, I went to a Comic-Con this year. I did see a 9.6, I think, copy of this in person before. First appearance of Punisher. Really? Maybe temporarily, but I own a 9.6 copy of Amazing Spider-Man 129? I remember when I got back to Giant Size X-Men #1, and watch that video if you haven't seen it. I won't give away the grade. And I remember how floored I was and happy I was. I almost cried in that video. It's like, I'm more emotional about that guy's book than my own, although this is huge, man. This has got to be worth, I'm going to put the value on the screen, but I would think at least $5,000. I have no idea. I spent $2,300 on it after taxes, shipping, and all that stuff. And I mean, CGC charged me a couple, $300 or whatever it was for it. Holy cow. That is going to be on my wall for at least a little bit. Where am I going to put it? Next to my Spider-Man 9.9? My X-Men 101? Sure, I've got to put it right here, right? Front and center? Yeah. Won't really show in the video completely, though, will it? So I think I need to put it... What do you think? Right here? I'm going to move this to another slot. I'm not putting that off the wall because that's one of my favorite books. But I think it looks good right here. But I'm going to go ahead and enjoy this for a while. And maybe sell it and look for another copy. Or copies. Look at that. Can you believe that? Man. I can't believe that says 9.6. I just can't believe that. Wow. Okay. This has been a fun one, guys. Man, I can't wait to do more. This is motivating as heck, as you can imagine. Right? What's more motivating than this? White pages, too. It was an 8.0 white pages before. Yeah. So yeah, we'll do this again. So stay nerdy. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.